Hello everyone! We are back in our house in New Zealand after our trip to the Amazon.
It's been a long week.
It feels
like forever ago that we were there. And
we took a while to do this final video because we got completely lost.
Yeah, and we spent a few nights in Lima before we flew back, and it takes forever to get back to New Zealand. So it's been a while. It's been just over a week, I think.
Yeah.
So since the last ceremony. So here we go.
Here we are. We have mixed feelings about being back. We kind of want to go back to the jungle.
Yep.
We miss the heat, although it's still summer here, but it's cold compared to how hot it was over there. And we miss the people, we miss the everything.
The people.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah. So, here we are. We're going to go through the last two ceremonies that we
So that's
did.
ceremonies 15 and 16.
And we've got notes because our brains are not
it's
working.
It's impossible to remember everything.
So we have to read it out.
We went through the journal and took the best ones and the ones we think can benefit.
Yeah. So I think you have more to say than I did.
Okay,
My last
I'll see if I can remember most of them, but I'll kind of just go through my list. So for the 15th ceremony, the idea was kind of to go towards future things and opening up our hearts and what's next. So a while after I drank the medicine, I got something that one of our teachers usually say, and that is I am love, I am source, I am creation. So I started the journey just sitting in that. And I just felt this deep gratitude for the whole experience and being able to be in the jungle, do all these things, meeting all these people. And it was just a really heartfelt ceremony for me. I got at one stage, I just had this big appreciation for my parents and just seeing their lives and their ways and how good they are as human beings. That was quite special. And so I also, one of our other teachers always say love is the medicine, and I had this whole thing around love is the medicine and the ayahuasca is love, and it was a whole thing. It was quite important in the journey, so I thought I'll mention that. We went through something quite difficult closer to the last week of our stay. Just some relationships and things that happened, and in the journey I asked that I be shown do I need to do something more? Do I just leave it? What do I do next? And I was shown this big sword, and I asked the shaman and the integration, but I didn't give the full context at the time. So he just said that that's kind of the strength of the medicine. So and thinking about it afterwards, I think I kind of got a message around it. So I thought I'll just mention that. My master plant was Coca, and for a long time I couldn't everyone always asked how do you feel in the diet, have you connected with Coca, with your master plant, and I could never pinpoint yes, I've done this and this. But in this journey I got this turquoise kind of female energy again, and I might have mentioned that in previous journeys, but in this one I realized that that's the way Coca was showing up in my journeys. And every time something was really scary or really uncomfortable, this turquoise kind of energy would flow into my head and into my vision. And I realized that that's how Coca showed up for me. This very soft, gentle female energy. And I also I remembered something in the meditation that we're talking about fragrances and smells and things, bringing it into meditation. And I realized that this is something that's important to me for my meditations moving forward. So it's not something that I would necessarily bring into facilitation, but my own private meditation, just working more with different fragrances. And yeah, that was something I realized. And during the ceremonies, like when the second cup is presented, or when someone sits in front of the shaman, there's always this like whispering. The facilitators will whisper in these moments. And in the ceremony, I saw and I felt the beauty of what a whisper can carry. Like, yeah, it was something quite special, like how a whisper carries like the care and love and appreciation. So that was quite a big thing for me on this journey.
They would always come to our mat and be
Yeah.
like, it's time for your song.
Yeah,
And then I'll take you to the shaman and yeah, all these things.
And then you hear, because you can't, like, I don't speak Spanish, so I could hear the person's name, and then you would hear, say Julia was in front, you, Julia, and then some whispers, and it just felt like something special. Yeah, and it was extra special on this night. During the night I just had a lot of like, I often get these waves of like full body, like almost like numbness, or you can feel the medicine working through the body. So I had that a few rounds on this night, and at one stage I was feeling quite sad, like this bittersweet feeling in my heart space, where I mean, it was the second last journey, and we knew we were going home soon, and we just met these absolutely amazing people over these 4 weeks. Like the absolute care and like just the genuineness of these people, and like even people that are there for longer times, like talking to different human beings and hearing their journeys, and everyone's there to heal and to work on themselves, and it's just this real appreciation. I think that's the saddest part, not being there anymore, is just this connection with people. You feel like you've known them for many years, although you've just
it's like, how do you find so many like top quality people in one place? Like how is that even possible? Like such awesome humans all in one place.
Yeah, so we really hope we can keep the connections with these people, and it was just an amazing time. On this particular night, the head maestro, Ricardo's cousin Olinda, was there. So that was the first time that we have experienced a female shaman singing, and I was always wondering, like, well, how would that be? So she started singing, and it was this, she had quite a high-pitched voice. As soon as she started singing, like my visions, which was already like up there, kind of multiplied times 10 instantly. But it was all good things. Like I saw all these flowers and hummingbirds and peacock feathers and like butterflies and all these things and all these Icaros patterns like lighting up, and it was all beautiful, but it was just so much so quickly that I had to actually stand up and go outside for a while, because it was just overwhelming. And the rest of the night was kind of hard in some way, but it was always like good visions and good feelings, but just too much to handle. And yeah, so my...
No, I just was gonna say, for me it was like her voice was so high frequency, it was like being pulled up into the cosmos. It was like, it was so intense, because we're used to these like male shamans that have quite deep voices, and then here she comes and it's like so high pitched, and it was almost like uncomfortable and unpleasant. Like I felt quite like triggered by it. I was not being very like, I don't know, I was in two minds about if I liked it or not, because I could just not handle all of it. It was so intense.
Yeah, I mean, you could really feel the power of her songs. Like I
got a personal song from
her that first night,
which was really good. In the end, I got used to it, but yeah, it was like full blown intensity in the body and everything.
Yeah, I got my song from her the last night, the next night. It's quite different when she sings. She kind of moves around as well, so it's like the voice is bouncing off different places in the Maloka, and if you're sitting in front of her, it's completely different. Like I found it easier to sit in front of her and listen to her songs, where some of the people said that they could handle it better from like
far
on
away.
The other side of the Maloka. But I kind of got used to her voice in a way. And
she had different things.
Yes,
she was like, she had this one song that was like flowy and like very high frequency, and it went like this. And then for other people, she was like like this, and it was like this attack. And it was like really
I guess depending on what you needed.
Depending on, because they would sing to different people for different things. So yeah.
I mean, my song, the last night was more about like opening the heart again.
Yeah.
So I guess it was a little bit more relaxed and heart opening. So a little bit easier. This night it was the first time I sat next to, or in between two women, which was a different feel in the energy. I really appreciated like the female energy on both sides, so that was quite special. And then I had this just for the rest of the night. Basically I was just sitting in love and like appreciation and openness in the heart, and I had these like white clouds around me, and like white clouds like bubbling out of my heart, and just like, and flowers growing on everything. Sometimes like I felt like that was her song, like Olinda's voice had these flowers growing over everything for me, which sometimes got a little bit much, but it was good. It was all good. And then for the rest of the night, I kind of just had this feeling that I need to be my real self, and I had a big appreciation for Julia, because I feel like I can really be myself around her 100% of the time. So yeah, just that appreciation was quite special. I think that's that.
You had
that's
like a
me
very
for the 15th one. Yeah, it was quite a full-on one, but I was, I
had a
could
good
remember
one.
I could remember a lot of things that happened where usually I forget most of it.
You've also been writing in the dark in your book,
I've found this, like for the last 3 or 4 ceremonies, I had this, like, I took my journal and I started writing. So I would kind of write in the dark and then like just leave bigger spaces so I don't like go over the previous writing. And that was really good to kind of just capture main ideas across the night. And I feel like sometimes you forget so many things, and then the next day I read it and I can actually go back and see the visions of those things. So
I wish I did that, because I forgot most of my things most of the time. But then also I don't know if I would have been able to focus and write stuff.
There comes a time sometimes where you're just like, I can't handle this too much too quickly, and you just put it aside. Like some of the nights I wrote for the first 20 minutes and then it's done. So mine was like the opposite of that. It was like not a nice experience. It was probably the worst experience for me in a weird way, because I couldn't... Not in a scary way.
Not in a scary way, just in a like flat, like I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't remember anything. I had no visions, except for like at the start when Olinda started to sing, there was a little bit of that and like the being pulled up into the stars and the cosmos and that, but then it came with extreme discomfort in my body as always, but extra. I've just had a lot of like bodily feelings. I think my way of reading energy is through sensing and feeling through the body rather than visuals. So it always comes with a lot of shaking, a lot of heat and cold and discomfort and just like nausea. But then I also haven't purged the last 3 weeks. So it's like just so much discomfort, my heart like beating 1,000,000 miles an hour, and some visions here and there. So then when I got my song, the intention was to clear the mind, and I can't remember, there was a few things, clearing the thoughts in the mind. And so she did that, and I think that actually like blanked me out even more, and I literally could not think of anything. I couldn't think of my intentions, I couldn't think of anything to work on. I was just like there for the whole night, and my mind was super blank. So it worked, but it was just like I didn't know what I was doing. And she did, like I could hear her moving while she was singing. It was like her voice was down here and then it was up here, and then she was moving to my heart, and then she was like, it was very surgical the way that she was singing to me. And so after that, it kind of, I don't know, got worse. Like the sensations got even worse, and I was just really uncomfortable, so sensitive, like everything was heightened. And then, of course, the last few weeks I've been like the effects had been very delayed, so they would start quite late. So after the song it would start, and then towards the end of a ceremony it amplified even more. And then I was outside for a long time. I think you were outside. We were both outside, and we were both feeling like very like still in the journey, because the people at the end of the ceremony, like sometimes people bring instruments or sometimes they decide to sing, and which is great for when you are out of your journey. But for people like me who have been stuck in my ceremony every night after the ceremony finishes, it's very overwhelming and very triggering. So it's like one person starts to sing, and then a next person decides, oh, they've got something that they want to sing, and then the next person decides they've got an instrument that they want to play, and it's like starts to become this whole thing. And so I just like bolted out of the room straight away and I went outside. But then I was sitting there and it was raining and it was cold. So I was sitting there like still feeling the effects and feeling quite like fragile. And
so still sitting at the entrance
at
anyway.
The entrance,
so
I could still hear them
everything.
singing.
Yeah.
And so I was just sitting there trying to ground myself, and then I had to go to the bathroom. So I walked in the rain, and the rain was like piercing through my skin. It was like I was extremely sensitive to anything. And the light in the bathrooms was so intense and everything. So that whole scenario was just a lot for me. And then Vessel came outside as well. And then we sat there for a long time. And then you started feeling the effects again.
I kind of was completely out of the effect, like, and then about 20 minutes to the end of the ceremony, I suddenly was like surprised because it was just back and super strong, so much that for the rest of the night, struggling with Julia after the ceremony, like going through this effect in such a way that I actually almost forgot that I had a good journey. So we were both really deep in it.
Weirdly. But I think that happens, I think because we have a connection, and that's why they split us up in the ceremonies.
Yeah, because we don't sit together in the ceremonies. We have a few people in
and I think it because it happened quite a few times, because I was always deeply in it when the ceremony finished, and then Vessel was fine. And every time he would come and sit with me, all of a sudden he'd be like overwhelmed by the feelings again and all the sensations, and then he'd be completely knocked out. And I think it's just because
go back to my bed and
he would like feel my thing. I think that's what happened, because then you'd be
that night I wasn't with you when it started again.
I don't know what happened, but we ended up lying down again for a long time, trying to like get rid of or kind of ride the wave of whatever that was. And it just ended. And so I was a bit like just unsatisfied with that journey, because I didn't know what I worked on. I couldn't remember anything. I was cold and unhappy and triggered by the songs and the instruments and the rain. And it was just like a lot. So, but it's all part of it. It just kind of pushes your limits a little bit, and then you learn how to regulate yourself. And I think that's a big part of like my lesson, was regulating and sitting with discomfort, because I really don't like being uncomfortable. It's like a thing. I don't like discomfort. So having so much of it in my body every night was quite a thing. So anyway, that was that one. And then the next one was the final one. We had Olinda again singing. So she did a song for Vessel that night.
I had a song.
And we just had...
It was mostly about like future and kind of like
moving
inspiration
forward,
and opening the heart and like...
Yeah, connecting to the heart and like not... losing the enthusiasm that we have for our business and our ideas and because we had started to get a lot of downloads like that week, because we'd opened
the last
up
few days.
We had opened up that whole thing where we did get a few songs from the shamans about like opening up to the future and getting creative and connecting to possibilities. And so it started like during the daytime, we'd start to get a lot of ideas of what we want to do
ideas,
for the
business
future.
ideas, like
getting really excited. And so that one,
and that hasn't stopped.
It has not stopped. We went to bed at midnight last night.
Like since we've been back, like it's kind of this week, every day it's kind of ramping up a little bit. It's all good, but it's just so much that it's sometimes overwhelming, and you just want to do everything right now. And we do realize that we'll take it at a good pace, but lots to come.
Definitely opened up. We asked for it, and now it's opened up like this insane amount of creativity.
But it's really cool to just see and feel like what's actually possible. So really good.
Yeah. So that was like the last night was again, I took a very small dose. I was like, I don't want to, it's the last night. I took like 10 milliliters. And I felt a bit sleepy. Usually that happens when you take a small dose. It kind of lulls you in a way. But I thought, oh, okay, I'll just kind of cruise through it and be relaxed about it and see what comes to me. And of course, I got a lot of like, my legs were shaking, but so much that they were like going like this, almost like I was running. And I feel like that's again like the moving forward kind of energy of like, I'm ready to go. I'm got all these ideas and I'm ready to take them on kind of thing. That was like the energy that was moving through my legs. And then also I had like a whole thing with my hip that it felt like they completely dislocated it. It like my whole hip got pushed out and then they put it back in, like my leg. Not in a painful way, just it felt like that movement and it got put back together again. So there's always like, you don't always know what you're working on and what is being healed, but you feel it and you feel the shifts. So you're just like, cool, we go with that.
And sometimes, sometimes you just get like completely random visions and things that you can't understand. Like on this night I had like square birds and like wooden gloves that I would keep seeing, and like I had this thing around frogs and how important they are because of their feet, and like it doesn't really make sense in the moment, but it kind of puts this feeling in you, and then that feeling creates things. So sometimes really weird stuff.
A lot of stuff is in your subconscious that you, when you get out of it, you know you've done something important, but you don't really know what it was. But then you see it later in life and how your way of thinking changes and how you respond to things differently. And you're like, maybe it was the frog feet, or maybe it was like the hip that they dislocated and put back again. And now I'm thinking about things differently. Like you don't know. Yeah. But so that night I got my song from Julian, which is always my favorite. And he was amazing. And after that, of course, it started to open up again. Because at first we got 2 songs at the end to close our diet, which is like the plant that we've been taking all of these weeks. You close it, they give you like a protection around it for when you go back into, the chaotic world. They kind of close it and protect it so that it is sealed within your body and it can still keep working with you. So my first song, I wasn't feeling much like effect, and I thought, I probably just took a small dose and it's gonna be like a cruisy night, it's fine. And then by the second song they came to get me, it was like so, like it got me really strong. I was really like wobbly, I could barely walk. I was like, holy moly, like what is happening? Why is it so strong all of a sudden? Like the whole night has gone, and now again we're at the end, and now I'm feeling all of these sensations. So Ricardo closed my diet, and I was so uncomfortable. I don't know what, I was so uncomfortable with this song. Yeah,
but the closing song is quite a strong song in a way, like, and he repeats some of the things in a way that's quite.
It's very mechanical and very like like I don't know.
I can't remember
I don't know
it now, but
it was just uncomfortable, and I had a lot of the shakes again, and then I went back to my bed and it was just getting more and more again, the heightened sensations and all of that stuff. And every time he would sing to someone else, I would like,
yes, similar kind of
feel it,
idea.
like feel the energy so strongly. And I tried to like stay lying down and just calm myself, and I think the night ended pretty much there. I don't know if you had like anything exciting happen, but
I mean, my whole thing was more about like the gratitude and opening the heart again. So my whole thing was around that, and I got this idea of like we need to be pure with the energy and the intention, and that's the most important thing this year, is just being pure and intentional, and just going for the things that you feel deeply connected to. And it doesn't need to be anything major, but if you feel there's a connection, that's where you need to put the energy and just keep it clean.
Yeah, that's definitely like a theme that we've taken on board.
And I think that's something that we will kind of take on for this year, and also into our breathwork facilitation as well. Like that's all about the purity of the energy.
I think with me, I had just reached the end of that journey. Like it was a whole month. We did 16 ceremonies. By the last one and the last week, it was like my body couldn't take any of it anymore. I was really just tired and just felt quite weak, and like, because it was so physically intense for me, and I am a small person and quite a lightweight, so it was just really intense for my physical body.
Yeah, and I mean, it's 4 ceremonies a week.
Yeah.
So you do 2, you get 1 rest day, you do another 2. It's full on for 4 weeks.
It was a lot. Like I would have actually been okay if we just did 3 ceremonies a week every week. Like that would have been fine.
But then that's kind of part of the challenge as well.
Yeah.
Pushing the capacity a little bit when you think you can't. And then
it was all a learning. Like I think for me it was a very like getting through the discomfort parts of it. And that night again, it came on really strong at the end. They turned on the candle. Some of the people were singing again, and I was just like lying back trying to soothe myself, and eventually I couldn't take it anymore, so I went out again. I think we both went out together.
Yeah, I think so.
For a little bit we stood outside and tried to calm everything down, but it was just coming on more and more and more. And so everyone was like in this happy mood of like, congrats, you've closed your diet, well done on doing, your month and finishing and doing, and everyone's like congratulating each other, and I'm just like, I'm still in it. I'm still feeling so much. I cannot handle anything right now.
And the last night we sat next to each other for the last ceremony.
For the first time.
Was quite different to actually be there. I took a little bit less that night just because I just wanted slightly lighter than the previous night. So I had a lot and it was good.
Yeah.
But it meant that I could get out of it on time.
Yeah, you were, Oh, and I remembered also, because we sat next to each other the previous night, I was sitting between 2 other people, and that night I had so many things about being pregnant, and I had this like baby and visions of a baby, and I had visions of like having miscarriages, and it was just like all these things about babies and things, and I was very confused by it, and some of it was really heavy and dark, and I wasn't sure what was going on. And then afterwards I realized there was some people sitting next to me that had some like miscarriage things like visions around that, and also was sitting next to a midwife on the other side, and it was like, oh, okay, like that's happened quite a lot to me as well, being quite open energetically, and then me taking on everybody's stuff and then realizing, oh, it's not my stuff, I need to get rid of that. So even that had been quite a bit of a challenge. So that next day we kind of switched a little bit, got away from all the baby things. Then I sat next to Vessel, and that was fine. And so then by the end of that night, people had started to chat again, and then I was freaking out a little bit because it was starting to trigger me quite a lot. And then two of the facilitators were sitting across the room. So I just like bolted towards them, and I plonked myself down in front of them, and was just like, can you please just help me with something? Put the mapacho on me, put the agua florida. I need like serious like comfort vibes right now because I cannot handle anything. And so they helped me, like did all the things, which is really soothing. When it's really important when you feel so overwhelmed to ask for help, because sometimes you can lose yourself in like this thing where you're just suffering by yourself and you don't know what to do. But they don't always come to you because they kind of know to leave you alone and not interfere
respect the process
with your
as
process.
Well.
And sometimes you're not really supposed to touch other people during ceremony because of the energy and all of that stuff. So they don't really approach you unless you say, help me, I need something. So then they did a whole bunch of stuff, and the mapacho helps to kind of clean the field and protect you, and then the agua florida got a good spray of it over my head and like to help you ground.
It brings you back.
Fanning, one of them was singing, and they had like lots of wise words for me, and they sat with me for like over an hour while I was still deeply in it. And that was really helpful. And then, so later I realized that's probably like one of the big messages from Mother Ayahuasca over the whole month that I was there, was like the whole thing about not doing things alone and not being alone. Because at the start of the month, I had a lot of fear around like having to do things by myself because of like childhood stuff that had been creeping through, of like, I'm alone, I need to do this all by myself. No one cares about me. No one's really listening to me. No one gives a shit. No one understands. Like all of those thoughts were quite prominent at the start. And so I think literally ceremony after ceremony, every single night, it was like, let me show you that someone cares. So every night it was like, someone's helping me to do this, someone's fanning me, someone's taking me to the bathroom, someone's sitting with me for an hour, someone's holding my hand, someone's doing this, someone's doing that. So it's like the constant proof of like, look, people are taking care of you every night, and you're not alone. You don't have to do things alone. You can ask for help. So all of that whole message was woven through the whole month up until the very last ceremony, which was almost like the biggest one, where I was like super uncomfortable. And then I got literally like 2 facilitators in one go, and then Vessel came afterwards as well. And so we had like a whole thing around that. So that felt very supportive and important for that to have happened in that way. So that was my thing. I'm a little bit like disappointed that I didn't have as many cool visions as like Vessel did, and most people did. I was just like physically feeling everything. So I don't know what that was about. Sometimes I think I should have taken more because my first 3 journeys, I took bigger doses and I had way more visuals. And then the rest, I found a dose that I could kind of feel comfortable with, but then it was very bodily feelings. So I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes the visions are just too much as well.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you just forget about all the visions and it feels like you didn't have much. But I mean, I just saw that with writing stuff down, is that the day after I think I didn't have much, but then reading back, it's like, oh wow, there was actually so much. So
so maybe I just forgot literally everything that I saw. And if I was writing it down, I could have remembered more.
Yeah.
So we'll see. This was like an insane time. Like, what the hell? That was wild. We feel like we've completely changed, but also nothing's changed, but also everything is different. It's like this layer has been lifted off of our bodies and off of our souls. And now we're just like walking around really open.
And we're integrating still. Like, it's not easy to integrate. And that's the most important part, I think, is like coming back from something like that after a month. You really need to appreciate taking the time to integrate.
Yeah.
Because, we're still processing so much.
Yeah, there's a lot, and it feels overwhelming, and a lot of things coming through, and you feel almost like you don't really belong in this world anymore, because you've gone through so much, and now you're just back in this reality and moving through life where people are just doing these things.
It's kind of this thing where people have done the same thing for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And we've done so many different journeys and different things that we've gone through, and everyone's has done the same thing. So no one understands how much you've actually
gone
worked
through.
on.
Yeah. And how much you've released and how much you feel different in yourself.
And it's like you can't really explain it. Like we kind of can explain it now because we've made some notes and we're going back. But when you see someone after 5-6 weeks and they like, how was your trip? What did you do? Like completely blank. You can't start and you can't put it into 1 minute of explanation. And that's kind of even less than a minute of time that people give you to explain your whole journey
through the cosmos.
So you sometimes feel like you don't even want to start and really open it up or get into it because it's just too much.
Yeah.
So integration. That's
integration.
That's us for the next few weeks or months.
That's what we'll be doing, and we're excited to take this further. We really would love to actually take a group to Peru. Like, this is our job, actually. We do nervous system regulation and integration and breath work and all of these things, and we really actually enjoyed offering breathwork journeys at the retreat as well for the people at the center, and it
just
was
seeing
cool.
The way people can open up, like everyone's there to work on themselves and they're doing ayahuasca, but then the breathwork journeys that we did opened so many things up for people. It's like
what?
It's really two things that can go hand in hand.
Yeah, they're very interweaved because you do need the grounding and the regulation with the plant medicine that like shoots you out of your body.
So watch the space.
Those crazy ideas that are coming through, we're working
some of it
on it. So we're going to do a few more videos about a few more things, like what we did during the day, the challenges that we had, how we're integrating, different things that we'll share here on this platform. And follow us on Instagram, because we actually do a lot more on Instagram and Facebook. And we
mostly Instagram.
The space within, that is us. And we'll see you soon.
See ya.